Hello everyone. So we discussed non-dimensionalization and Buckingham Pi theorem in the last class. So we'll talk about that. If you have any questions from the last class, you may ask now.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, in the Buckingham Pi theorem, we are
Yes,
told that in the and and the number of repeating units, and in the last part you have told that you can choose mu vd as mu vd or mu rho v as
yes.
repeating unit. So my question is, mu itself contains all the three independent dimensions. So can't we take only mu, or why are we taking only three
Okay,
repeating?
okay. So we have not gone through a rigorous mathematical proof of this theorem. It may be proved in some detail maybe, but the rule here is that you have to choose these repeating parameters. The number should be same as uh, usually it is same as the number of basic dimensions, the number of primary dimensions. Here the primary dimensions are mass, length and time. So they are three. So you have to choose three repeating parameters. Now those three can be anything, but the combination of those three should contain all the basic dimensions. That is the rule here. So is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we cannot choose only one or two repeating parameters. We have to choose three. In some cases, it may be that it is not equal to the number of basic dimensions. Those are some special cases. But usually it is equal to the number of primary dimensions. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
any other question anybody has? Okay. First of all, can you please write here how many of you went through Buckingham Pi theorem? Or otherwise, I can just recap it a little bit so that you follow what I talk about in this class. Just write if you have gone through or not, yes or no. Okay. So most of you seem to have gone through this. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll take this example again. We'll choose some other combination of these repeating parameters and derive the dimensionless numbers. Okay, let us choose mu rho v. Okay. So first of all, let me recap what this theorem says. If there is a physical phenomenon in which you can identify a number of dependent and independent parameters, independent will be something that you want to find out, and dependent will be based on your experience with the phenomenon. So let's say here we took flow past a sphere, and here we wanted to calculate the force on this sphere. Drag force, this is called, but we'll talk about this later on. What is drag, what is lift? So the dependent parameter is F here, and the independent parameters are density of the fluid, viscosity of the fluid, the inlet velocity, the diameter of the sphere, and maybe roughness of the sphere also, because that may also affect the drag force. If it is a rough sphere, then there may be a higher drag force. But we considered a simple example where we don't have any roughness. It is a smooth sphere. So we wrote the function like this. This was our function g1 of fvd rho mu equal to 0. This is a general function having its arguments as all the parameters that we have identified for this physical phenomenon. So here we have written the same thing in a general form, g of q1 q2 up to qn. So there are n number of parameters which are dimensional. Now we want to reduce it to a relationship in dimensionless parameters. So by experience, we know that dimensionless groups are fewer in number as compared to dimensional numbers. So we want to reduce them. Uh, Now this theorem says that you identify the number of primary dimensions here. So in this case, for flow past a sphere, we wrote down the dimensions of each of these parameters. For example, force ml by t square, velocity l by t, and all these. And we found out that there are three primary dimensions: mass, length, and time. So we wrote r equal to 3 here. Now, having written that m equal to r equal to 3, m is the primary dimensions, number of primary dimensions, or r is the number of primary dimensions, and we take number of repeating parameters, which is equal to m here. In this case, both are same. For simple cases, both are same. So ultimately, you are going to get n minus m number of n minus m number of dimensionless parameters. So that we can write this capital G of pi 1, pi 2 up to pi n minus m equal to 0. This relationship we will get finally. And what is the use of deriving this relationship between, we are not actually deriving the relationship, we are not deriving this function G, we are just finding out the number of dimensionless groups here so that it is easier to conduct experiments. So if you remember this table that we wrote here, this table and this table, if you see this second table, here we have lots of dimensional parameters, rho, mu, v, l, f. If you want to find out f as a function of rho, mu, v, l, you need to conduct so many experiments. So here we derived how many experiments we need to conduct. If we want to just take 5 points for each of the parameter values. So f versus v, for example, if you take only 5 points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and similarly for mu also you take 5 points, for l also you take 5 points, for rho also. So you have to conduct 625 number of experiments if you consider only 5 points each. But if you derive dimensionless groups, then you know that the function will be f star equal to a function of Reynolds number, where f star is one dimensionless group, which is equal to this f by rho v square d square, and Reynolds number is rho v d by mu. So if you know that this is the functional relationship, this is what it will look like, this is how many dimensionless groups you will form, then you have just two of these, pi 1 and pi 2. Pi 1 is f star, pi 2 is Reynolds number. Then if you vary pi 2, you will get a corresponding pi 1 value in your experiments. So here, if you consider only 5 experiments, you get the similar result what you would have gotten for the dimensional case. If you consider dimensional parameters and did 625 experiments, you will get the same information here in only 5 experiments. So this is the benefit of reducing your function to a function of dimensionless numbers. Okay, I hope this was clear. So now let us take, so we took rho v d as the repeating parameters here and showed what the dimensionless numbers are. we got one dimensionless number as f by rho v square d square, and the second as mu by rho v d, which is inverse of Reynolds number. Now let us take mu rho v as our repeating parameters and see what dimensionless groups we form, whether it gives the same result or something else. Okay, so now we'll write pi1 equal to mu rho v power some a, b and c, and what are the remaining parameters here? One of them is f and one of them is d. Sorry, yeah, so d is remaining and f is remaining here. So f, and similarly pi2 we can write mu rho v d, and we'll write e or d, e and small f. Okay, now we'll write the units, you will write the dimensions for mu rho v f. From here we can see for f it is ml by t square, for mu m by lt. So we get m by lt to the power a, m by l cube to the power b, velocity is L by T to the power C, and force is ml by T square. Okay, now we combine all the m terms, all the L terms and all the T terms. So take 5 minutes and let me know what A, B and C are. So you have to equate this to m to the power 0, L to the power 0 and T to the power 0, because pi1 is a dimensionless number. So take a few minutes and let me know what A, B and C are. This should not take much time. Okay, a minus 2, b1, and so you had a plus b plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so let me take that answer. A minus 2 and b1. So what do we get here? Rho f by mu square is the first dimensionless group, mu pi 1. What about the second dimensionless group, pi 2? Calculate that as well. Okay, all right. So two similar answers. I'll take this answer. Let me write it here. So we get rho Vd by mu. That is the Reynolds number. Okay. So now if you compare these two, rho f by mu square and rho Vd by mu, with the dimensionless groups that we got before, which are mu by rho Vd and f by rho v square d square. So pi 2, we can see that this is just 1 by pi 2. the second dimensionless group. What about the first dimensionless group, rho f by mu square? So this seems like if you write um, rho f by mu square times the second dimensionless group squared and inverse of that. So mu square by rho square v square d square. If you write 1 by pi 2 square, which is this, then you will get the first dimensionless group that we got in the previous analysis. Okay. So as we discussed before, that whatever dimensionless group that you get here by considering these uh, repeating parameters, they may be a function of the pi 1 pi 2 that you got by considering some other repeating parameters. So it does not really matter which repeating parameters you choose. You are going to get a similar result when you conduct the experiments and plot your graphs. Okay. So is there any question up to this point? Okay. What you can also try is you can try taking more number of repeating parameters or less number of repeating parameters. For example, you can take only mu and write then how many pi groups will you form? So you will multiply mu with each of the dimensional groups, dimensional numbers. For example, mu times rho, mu times d, mu times v, mu times f. Okay. But you'll see that when you multiply mu times d, for example, you will not be able to cancel out m and t in mu. So you have to take mu to the power 0 in that case. So this is not uh, this will not give you any dimensionless group in that case. So choosing only one repeating parameter, in this case mu, does not help. Okay. Similarly, you can choose rho times mu, rho and mu as your repeating parameters. In that case also, time will not cancel out. You can see when you multiply rho power a times mu power b with d, in that case time will not cancel out from mu. So mu to the power 0 you have to take in that case also. So therefore this is not a valid dimensionless group and not a valid choice of repeating parameters. You can take mu and f as your repeating parameters because there you can cancel out m, l and t, all of them, by taking different powers a and b of mu and f. And you can try what groups you form when you choose mu and f as your repeating parameters. All right. Now we'll take a very simple example which you have already done before, but not using Buckingham pi theorem, just by using plain dimensional analysis. So let's say there is a pendulum and you want to find out the time period of this pendulum. That is the dependent parameter, and the independent parameters are length of the string, gravity, mass of this bob, anything else. Okay. So that's it. Now let us write this function g. Let us write f because g is gravity. So right now let us say that we don't know if mass is a parameter here or not in finding out t. We know that the formula is 2 pi root L by G. Mass does not come into picture, okay, for time period. But let's say we don't know that, we include M here. Now let us write down the dimensions of each of them. Time is time, length is length, this is mass, and gravity is length by t square. Okay. Now, how many how many primary dimensions are there? We have three here: mass, length, and time. So therefore, r is 3, and we will choose m equal to r equal to 3 in this case. Now, which three repeating parameters will you choose? We'll choose 3 such that all 3 primary dimensions are accounted for. So you can either choose MLT, mass, length, and time, all 3 will be there, or MGL or MGT, anything like that. So let us consider MLT. And how many dimensionless groups will you form? There will be only one, because n minus m is 1 here. N is 4. Let me write n is 4 and n minus m is 1. So only one dimensionless group. So can you do this and let me know what is the dimensionless group? I'll just write here pi, which is pi 1, or you can call it just pi, will be equal to m to the power a, l to the power b, t to the power c, g. So find out this pi 1. Find out a, b, and c and let me know what is pi 1. Okay. Yeah. Minus 1 and 2. And for m it is 0. So let's write minus 1. And the power of m is 0. So even though we considered m as one of the parameters, after doing this analysis, we got to know that our dimensionless group does not depend on m, and there is only one dimensionless group, which means that finally we can write the relationship as some function of this pi 1 equal to 0. Okay, so it will be some function of pi1 t square g by l equal to 0. So it can be t square g by l plus some constant equal to 0, or t square g by l square. Okay, so the function we have not derived yet. I'll give you some examples of this function psi pi1 square plus pi1 plus 1 equal to 0. This can be one of the functions. It can be sine pi1 plus pi1 to the power 1.5 equal to 0. It can be any function. So this is what it means. Okay. So now what you can do is you can conduct experiments with various pi1 values. Um, you can note down, sorry, yeah. So what you can do is you can change length and find out pi1, for example. Then you will get to know by changing length what is pi1, how does pi1 vary. Okay, then you can guess the form of the function by that. Because anyway, time period is not in our control, that is the result. And gravity, if it is constant, then we cannot change it. So you can vary L and see how pi1 varies by changing L. Okay. Now let us take another example. The Couette flow example is a simple one. We can guess that there will be only Reynolds number dependence. We'll get only one dimensionless group, that is Reynolds number, and the other dependent dimensionless group, force or anything else that we want to find out, that we'll get. So let us not do this problem again. It will be a little boring. Let us take a problem of a ship on a sea surface. Let us assume that the wind forces are not so strong. So even if it is floating in vacuum, it is similar to the actual situation. And let's say the ship is not so complicated. We can have only one length scale L for the ship. So the parameters are length L, viscosity and density of the liquid, uh, gravity, what else is a parameter here that you can think of? It can be mass of the ship. All right. And let's say we want to find out the force on this ship. So that is the dependent parameter. You can have either mass of the ship, or you can also take density of the ship, the average density of the ship as your parameter, because we have already taken length scale L. So if you multiply the density of the ship by L cube, that will give you the mass, an idea of the mass of the ship. So either you can take density of the ship or mass of the ship. Both are similar things. You have accounted for that part of the parameter. Okay. So now this will be a function equal to 0. Now you can write down each of these dimensions of each of these parameters. and then identify the primary dimensions. Again, you will get mass, length, and time as your primary dimensions, and which are 3 in number, and how many number of parameters, number of dimensional parameters are there. There are 6. So n minus m is 3. Therefore, you are going to form 3 pi groups: pi 1, pi 2, and pi 3. All right. So this is a quick problem that you can solve very easily. You can do this problem now and send it to my mail. All right. So we'll stop here. If you have any questions, you can ask.
So we have to send it now itself, or
Yeah. So yeah, up to 12 o'clock, the class timing is there, so you can quickly do it. It won't take more than 10 minutes, I think.
okay, sir.
Yeah. Or if you can't do it now, you can send it by today. Okay. Before 11:59 p.m. All right. So we'll stop here. Thank you.